Hello, and welcome to Communicate to Lead, the podcast that empowers leaders and aspiring leaders to communicate with clarity and impact. I'm Kelly Belton, CEO and successful entrepreneur, and your host for today. I'm here to equip you with all the essential tools and strategies to master effective communication and lead your team to success. As the founder and CEO of The Tailored Approach, my goal is to empower you to be the best leader you can be. So sit back, relax, and join me in today's episode as we dive into the art of communicating like a true leader. Picture this, you're in a one-on-one with your manager, or maybe it's a skip level meeting with the VP. The conversation is going well. You're talking about the project you just wrapped, the team you're leading, the results you've been driving. And then they ask, so what are your goals for next year? Where do you see yourself going? And in that moment, your mind goes blank. You scramble and you say, well, I'm really excited to keep growing in my role and take on new challenges. Or perhaps you say, I'd love to continue developing my leadership skills. They nod, they smile, the conversation moves on. And you walk away with that sinking feeling in your gut, that feeling that says, I just missed an opportunity. I made myself invisible again. Meanwhile, you watch other people, often people who aren't working as hard as you, who haven't delivered the results you have, speak confidently about exactly where they are headed, and somehow they keep moving up while you feel stuck. If that frustration feels familiar, I want you to stay with me for the next 20 to 30 minutes, because the problem isn't that you don't have goals. The problem is that you haven't learned how to articulate them in a way that positions you for what you actually want. And that's exactly what we're getting into today. Welcome back to Communicate to Lead. I'm your host, Kelly Belton, communication and leadership facilitator, coach, and consultant. And I'm here to help you stop playing small and start owning your voice as a leader. Today, we're talking about what to say when someone asks you about your goals for next year. Not only how to answer in the moment, but how to get clear on what you actually want so that when that question comes up, and it will, you are ready to advocate for yourself in a way that opens doors instead of closing them. So let's talk about why this question, what are your goals for next year, is so loaded, especially for you as a woman in leadership. First, this isn't a casual conversation. When your manager or senior leader asks you about your goals, they are doing more than making small talk. They are assessing you. They're trying to understand, are you thinking strategically? Do you know what you want? Are you leadership material? And here's the thing, when you give a vague answer, when you say things like, I want to grow, or I'm open to new opportunities, what they hear is, she doesn't know what she wants. She's not ready. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you need to have your entire career mapped out with military precision, but you do need to be able to articulate a direction, because vague goals get vague results. Yep, you heard that right. Vague goals get vague results. When you're unclear about what you want, other people get to decide for you. And often they decide you're fine right where you are. Here's what makes this even harder for women in leadership. There's this impossible tightrope we are expected to walk. If we are too ambitious, we are seen as aggressive or threatening. If we are not ambitious enough, we are overlooked. So we end up softening our language. We say things like, I was thinking maybe I could help with, or if there's an opportunity, I'd love to be considered. And that minimizing language, it kills your credibility before you even finish that sentence. The truth is, the people who advance aren't necessarily the most qualified. They are the people who can clearly communicate where they are going and why they are the right person to get there. They connect their goals to what the organization needs. They speak with conviction, and they make it easy for decision makers to say yes. That's what we're going to help you with today, because you've been doing the work. You've been delivering the results. You've been showing up. But if you can't articulate what you want next, all of that hard work stays invisible. So let's change that today. Before we get into what to say, let's talk about what not to say, because I see the same patterns show up again and again and again, and I want you to avoid them. Mistake number one, downplaying your ambition. You know you want that promotion. You know you are ready to lead that initiative, but you're scared of coming across as too much, so you soften it. Instead of saying, I'm ready to lead the product expansion, you say, I'd be interested in maybe being involved in the product expansion if that makes sense. Can you hear the difference in that? The second version sounds tentative, unsure, like you are asking for permission to want something. Here's what I need you to know and understand. Ambition is not a dirty word. Wanting more is not selfish. You are allowed to want the promotion, the title, the opportunity. And when you can speak about it with conviction, you signal confidence. When you hedge, you signal doubt. Mistake number two, making it about you instead of about impact. I see this all the time. Someone says, my goal is to get promoted to senior director, or I want a 15% raise. And look, these things matter. I'm not saying they don't, but when that's how you frame your goal, what your manager is hearing is, this is about what she wants to get, not what she's ready to give. The leaders who get what they want, they flip the script. They say things like, I'm ready to take on the expansion into the Northeast region, and I believe I can increase our market share by 12% based on the strategy I've been developing. Do you see how different that sounds? You are not asking for something. You are positioning yourself as the solution to a problem the business has. Mistake number three, being vague about what you actually want. This is the one that breaks my heart, to be honest with you, because I know it comes from a place of not wanting to limit yourself. You think if you stay open and flexible, more opportunities will come your way. But the opposite happens. When you say, I'm open to whatever comes, or I want to keep growing, what you're really saying is, I haven't thought about this. I'm not strategic. I don't know what I want. And when you don't know what you want, no one else can help you get it. Your manager can't advocate for you. Your mentor can't open doors because they don't know which doors to open. Mistake number four, talking about tasks instead of outcomes. This is a subtle one, but it matters. When someone asks about your goals and you start listing all the things you will do, I'll manage the team, I'll run the weekly meetings, I'll handle the client relationships. You are simply describing activities. But leaders don't get recognized for activities. They get recognized for results. So instead of saying what you'll do, say what will be different because you did it. Instead of saying, I want to manage a larger team, here's what you want to say. I want to scale our team's output by 30% while maintaining quality, which will position us to take on new contracts coming in Q2. One is about a task, the other is about impact. Mistake number five, not knowing what you want in the first place. And this is the root of all the other mistakes. You're so busy doing the work, showing up, proving yourself that you haven't stopped to ask, what do I actually want next? So when someone asks, you panic because you genuinely don't know. You haven't thought about it and you can't articulate something you haven't defined. If that's you, that is totally okay. But we need to fix it because this year is almost over and those year-end conversations are coming or they are already happening. You need to get clear now, not in December when you are scrambling. So let's get started. Let's get clear on what you want so that you can articulate it confidently when the moment comes. Consider your goals in two categories: career goals and personal development goals. Both are important, and you need to be able to speak to both. Your career goals are about the role, the responsibility, the scope of what you're doing. This is where you are headed professionally in the next 12 months. Your development goals are about the skills, capabilities, and experiences you need to build to get there. This is how you're preparing yourself for what's next. Let's start with the career goals. Ask yourself, if everything went the way I wanted it to next year, what would be different about my role or my responsibilities? Maybe you want to lead a bigger team. Perhaps you want to own a specific initiative. You may want to move into a new function, or you want to step into a formal leadership title. Get specific. Don't say, I want more responsibility. Say, I want to lead the launch of the new service line. Don't say, I want to grow my leadership skills. Say, I want to manage a team of 10 and be responsible for our Q2 revenue targets. Here's the key. Connect that goal to what the business needs. To help you with this, ask yourself the following question. What problem does this solve for the organization? What gap does this fill? How does this align with where the company is headed? Because when you can say, I want to lead the expansion into the Atlanta market, which aligns with our strategic priority to grow our Southeast presence by 20%, you are not simply talking about what you want. You are talking about how you can help the business win and grow. That's the language that gets people's attention. Okay, let's talk about your development goals. These are the skills or experiences you need to build to be ready for that next level. And here's what you need to understand. Development goals aren't about fixing weaknesses. They are about building the capabilities that will make you undeniable for the role you want. So here's a question you need to consider. What do people at the next level do that I'm not doing yet? What skills do they have that I need to build? Maybe it's strategic thinking. It could be executive presence, financial acumen, or stakeholder management across different departments. Be specific about what you need and how you plan to build it. So instead of saying, I want to work on my communication skills, focus on, I want to get more comfortable presenting to senior leadership. So I'm going to volunteer to lead our quarterly business review presentations. Don't say, I want to learn more about finance. Say, I want to build my financial literacy so I can confidently contribute to budget discussions. So I'm planning to take a course and shadow our finance lead during the Q4 planning process. Do you see the difference? You're naming the skill and the strategy for building it. That shows you're serious and you are committed. That shows you are being proactive. Here's what I've noticed. Most people wait for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, you're ready. But the people who are advancing, my friend, they declare themselves ready. They identify the gap, they close it, and they communicate that they have done the work. And that is exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so you've done your thinking. You are clear on your goals. You are clear on what you want. Now, let's discuss how to express it out loud when someone asks. Let me walk you through how to structure this. It's simple and it works. Start with your career goal, the outcome you're driving towards. This is your headline. This is what you lead with, and you say it with confidence, not as if you are asking a question. I'm ready to take on the role of senior program manager and lead our cross-functional initiatives. Or I want to own the client relationship strategy for our top-tier accounts and drive retention and growth. Or here's another one. I'm positioning myself into a director-level role where I can lead a team and drive strategic initiatives. Notice the language. I'm ready. I want to own. I'm positioning myself. Not I'm hoping or maybe or if there's an opportunity. You stating it clearly. Then, once you have stated it clearly, it's time to connect it to the business need. This is where you show you're thinking strategically, not selfishly. And something you could say is, I know we're expanding into new markets next year, and I believe my background in market analysis and my relationships with regional partners position me well to lead that effort. Or you could go with our client retention targets increasing by 15%, I see an opportunity to create a proactive engagement strategy that keeps our top accounts growing with us. You're showing that you understand what the organization needs and that you are the person who can deliver it. Now that you've connected it to the business need, it's time to share your development goal, what you are building to get there. This demonstrates your strategic and proactive approach. You're not waiting for someone to hand you the skills. You are taking ownership of closing any gaps. Here's what you can say. To prepare for that, I'm focusing on strengthening my ability to influence at the executive level. I've started leading our monthly stakeholder updates, and I'm planning to get more exposure to board-level conversations so I can build that muscle. Or you could say, I'm also working on building my product strategy skills. I've been sitting in on product roadmap discussions and learning how to balance user needs with business priorities so I can think more strategically about what we build and when. This shows you're not waiting for someone to develop you. You are taking ownership of your own growth. And finally, ask for what you need. This is the part most people skip, and it's the most critical part because if you don't ask, The answer is always no. Let me give you some language you can use to ask for what you need. First one, do you see me as ready for that next step? If not, what specific areas should I focus on? Here's another one. Can you connect me to these types of projects? I'm ready to show what I can do at that level. Or when stretch opportunities come up in this area, I want to be the first person you think of. You are being direct, you are being clear, and you're making it easy for your manager to support you. Let me put this all together so you can hear what it sounds like in real time. I'm ready to step into a senior leadership role where I'm managing a larger team and driving strategic initiatives. I know we are scaling our operations next year, and I believe my track record of building high-performing teams and delivering results positions me well to lead that effort. To prepare, I'm focused on strengthening my strategic planning skills. I've been shadowing our VP during the annual planning process, and I'm working on developing a 3-year roadmap for my current team. Do you see me as ready for that next step? And if there are stretch projects where I can demonstrate that capability now, I would like to take them on. Your messaging is clear, confident, strategic, and it positions you as someone who knows what they want and is actively preparing for it. But if at any point you're thinking, but Keely, what if I don't exactly know what role I want? That's okay. You can still be directional. You could say, I'm ready to step into more strategic work because I think differently now than I did a year ago. I'm seeing patterns across teams, identifying gaps before they become problems, and thinking about how we can work smarter. I want to be in a position where I can act on these insights. What would that look like here, and what do I need to demonstrate to get there? You might not be naming a specific title here, but you're describing the type of work and the level of impact you want. And that's enough to start a meaningful conversation with your manager or skip level manager. Okay, here's what you need to do after finish listening to this episode. First, get clarity. Take 30 minutes this week, put it on your calendar, and write down your answers to these questions. What's my career goals for the next 12 months? What role, responsibility, or scope am I working towards? How does that align with my organization or team needs? What's my development goal? What capability do I need to build to be ready for that next level? What specific actions am I taking to build that capability? Write it down. Don't just think about it. Make sure to write it down. That's number one. Number two, practice saying it out loud. I'm serious. This is not optional. Find someone you trust. It could be a friend, a partner, a mentor, a coach, a colleague, and practice saying your goals to them out loud in full sentences. Because here's what happens. What sounds clear in your head comes out awkward the first time you say it. Your voice wavers, you use fuller words, you minimize yourself or your goals. But the more you practice it out loud, the more natural it becomes. And when that question comes up in that real conversation, and it will, you'll be ready to answer the question, what are your goals for next year? You won't freeze, you won't scramble, you will answer with clarity and confidence. And that clarity, that's what changes everything. Here's what I hope you take away from this episode. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to be ambitious. You are allowed to advocate for yourself. And when you get clear on what you want and learn how to articulate it in a way that shows you're thinking about impact, not just advancement, you stop being overlooked. You stop being invisible, and you stop being seen as the leader you already are. The people who get ahead aren't smarter than you. They're not working harder than you. They are simply more effective at communicating where they're going and why they should be the ones to get there. And now, my friend, so are you. So here's your assignment. Get clear on your goals, write them down, practice saying them out loud. And the next time someone asks, what are your goals for next year? Guess what? You are going to be ready and you are going to say it with confidence. I am cheering you on. And if this episode helped you, share with another woman in leadership who needs to hear this message. I will see you next Thursday for another episode of Communicate to Lead. Until next Thursday, my friend, I am Keely, reminding you that great communication is the foundation of inspiring leadership. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember to communicate to lead.